got the dragster in the trailer here for a little bit. We're getting cars shuffling around and winterized and getting shop organized. So for the moment, the dragster's hanging out here in the trailer for a little bit until everything kind of settles down and we got some room and can make sure that the cars don't got to move around much over the winter. But while it's still, for the most part, all together, safe for the body, I was thinking about some conversations I had at the end of the year that when I was racing this car and doing some testing with it and trying out some new things with it that I'd always wanted to try that I don't really ever get to with the 57 because we race so much and rarely ever get the chance to go and test without being burdened down by trying to race and do well. And I got to go make a bunch of runs. I think I made 9 or 10 runs, about one every hour for an entire day, and got to change a lot on this car. I made a lot of chassis changes. I don't think I ever made 2 runs consecutively without moving the 4-link bars or adjusting the shock or changing the shock entirely. I changed wheels and tires. We were really getting a lot of value out of the test day. And I was also doing a lot of tuning and playing with some cool features in the electronics of this car, and got the chance to see a lot of value out of it. This car's outfitted with a lot of late model, newer electronics that sometimes are a little bit intimidating and can be difficult to run effectively when you're coming from an older style car that had a little bit more antiquated electronics, or just not very comfortable with how much power that these cars are lended with the electronics that are in them. So I got the chance to make a whole bunch of runs, and in conjunction with all the physical parts of the car, instead of making chassis changes and things like that, I was pretty much every run I made a change with the delay box. So this car has the digital delay Elite 625, and I was shifting through the delay box on both time and RPM, and that I got the chance to talk to some friends about some data that I gotten out of it. I was pretty excited, and came to find out that it was a little bit of unknown that the information that you could get out of the delay box and all the cool features that it has, and just in related to shifting, let alone all the other, the starting line enhancer and the line locks and the 4-stage timers and multi-tap and push to let go and things of that nature. Just shifting this car alone through the delay box is pretty incredible, the things that it's capable of doing. And that day, being unbothered by trying to race well and things like that, I got to try a few things and learned a lot. And so I thought that was interesting. I had conversations with several friends, and they thought it was also very cool. And that kind of gave me the idea maybe to make this video to talk about some of the cool features that are kind of buried within the electronics in these cars. Maybe not just the delay box, but within the ignition or within the race pack or within things like that. So I was going to take the time while the car's still pretty well together. We got the water drained out of it and leaked it down, and it's pretty well ready for the winter. We're going to take the engine out of it, but for the moment it still is pretty operational. I can turn the power on and everything. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get in the car and we're going to talk about shifting through the delay box on both time and RPM, and using the Replay Tach, which is a huge feature within this that I think could be really key to helping these cars get even just that much better. So we'll go ahead and get in the car and try and really go into some detail and explain why I think that the Elite 625 is maybe the most powerful delay box ever in relation to how good we can shift the car through it. All right, as promised, we are slid down in the undercover car here, and we're gonna go ahead and turn the power on and talk about all the cool features related to shifting the car through the digital delay Elite 625. So we'll get the power turned on here. Get the 625 powered up. And this delay box has a lot of very cool features tied to shifting that are really not available by any other delay box on the market. So we'll jump right into it here, and we'll scroll through the setup screens, get through the bump down screens, and get over here to the shift. So here we are in the first of your shift screens. So your top line will be your peak recall. I've got it cleared. I try to make a good habit of clearing it after every run. Just a nice and simple, as just like a playback tack would have. So I've got that cleared. The second line is what your current shift point is. Right now I'm shifting at 72.55 on RPM. You can see it says RPM in small print there just below line 2. Line 3 is number of cylinders in the engine. Pretty self-explanatory there. Line 4 is the shift mode. That is high or low. That is telling the delay box whether or not we want to supply 12 volts or take 12 volts away when we're going to make the shift. So we obviously want to supply 12 volts. We've got it set on high. That's going to kick the shift solenoid out. When the parameters in the shift point setting are met, it's going to make the gear change. The far right of line 4 is telling you which shift we are currently set on. So we are currently on number 1, power glide and a dragster. We're only going to shift once anyways, so I only have data entered in shift 1. But if we were going to shift multiple times, we could scroll through, and the Elite 625 can shift 5 times. And a unique feature, or a very cool feature, is it can make 5 shifts using any of the options related to shifting, which means you can make 5 gear changes on RPM or time in any variety of manner that you want. A couple on time, couple on RPM, vice versa, all one, all of the other. Pretty neat setup. So when you get to this screen, it naturally defaults to line 4. If you were shifting multiple times and you wanted to see what you have set in the other shifts, you would go to 0, and 0 is just going to toggle you through shift 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, power glide car, we're only shifting once, so it's recommended to keep everything else at 0 if you only intend to shift once. So we'll get back to shift point number 1. And now, a new feature unique to the 625, and one of my favorite parts about this is when you come up here and get on line 2, which is the current shift point setting line, the 625 stores 2 memory values at all times for a shift, each shift. So we're on shift 1, so it's going to store 2 values in this all the time, and that is quite advantageous if you're somebody that likes to switch back and forth between RPM or time, or you have each set differently. So right now I'm set at 72.5500 on RPM, and all I would have to do to toggle over to shift on time would be hit the up arrow one time. We'll get back to line 4. Line 4 is where you would hit the up arrow one time, and now that toggles to shifting on time. You see I'm shifting at 2:05 on time, still at shift number 1. So that is your 2 memory values in each gear. And all I'd have to do to go back to RPM is back to RPM at 72.55. So this is a new feature for the Elite 625, and something that I really like having if you're somebody that likes to make quite a few changes, or not have to write it down in notes and keep it in the glove box and try and remember what your time shift point would be. This is a great way for the delay box to do that for you. So this is the first of your shift related screens. This is going to be, you're telling the delay box where you want to shift. So we can move on through the reaction time tester screen, and we're going to get over to the true Replay Tach screen. So this delay box can record up to 9 runs, and it will record peak recall, which we saw in the first screen. This screen will now record a live engine RPM graph, recording in 1/100th of a second increments from the time the trans brake releases through the duration of the run. and it will record when it made the gear change on both time and RPM, which is a very cool feature if you are trying to switch from one to the other and find out where on the racetrack that is. So if you're a guy who's always shifted on time or always shifted on RPM and you want to shift on time, but you don't know where on the racetrack is in that ballpark of where you've always been shifting, this will tell you. So we know run 3 is a good run. So I was leaving at 43.50 and the delay box started recording at 43.53. So right on the money. And to play a run on the Replay Tach, all we would do is use the arrows. So it has 4 speeds. This is the slowest, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is real time. And then you can slow it down as well. So we could use the down arrows to slow it down all the way to pause it. And we can scroll through. I believe I only had 4 runs recorded. That one was just idling around. We know run 3 is a good run. So we want to not just say we make a run and I don't want to watch the complete RPM graph. I just want to skip to where it made the gear change. So we're going to come up here to shift number 1. So the bottom line is going to tell us what shift we just made, and it's going to say it made shift number 1, which is our only shift in this car. It made shift number 1 at 72.63 at 195. If you remember from the first shift screen where we were telling it what we wanted to shift at, I had 72.55 in the shift 1 settings. So it made the gear change within 8 RPM. That's very accurate. It made the gear change in relation to time at 195. So this is valuable because as we make more and more runs, we can start to build a log of how good the car's making the gear change. This will tell you that if we're going through the day and the car's 60 footing really good and down low it's making good numbers and it's not good through the middle, your 60 to 330 splits are not great, this can lend a hand and maybe shed some light on we've got an inconsistency in the shift. So you would want to see this number be very consistent. I had overridden a run, what would have been run 4, and it shifted at 72.61 at 193, that run. So within a couple hundreds was making really nice, good, and consistent shifts. I was shifting on RPM, and that really helps diagnose a problem, should we have a problem. This will tell you if we've got a shift solenoid not firing well, or just if the car is just not happy in that neighborhood of where it's shifting. So this is a very cool feature, and this can also tell you, say you wanted to make a change, like right here, I shifted at 195, and if you remember, my stored value in my time was 205, and so we can run this real nice and slow up to 205 and see that it is about 150 RPM, we'll call that 7,400, from shifting at 195 at 72.60 to 205 at 7,400. 1/10 of a second raised the shift point 150 RPM. So if we're trying to make a change, maybe we want to speed the car up, condition, we're trying to dial honest, but we're at the high end of a number, don't want to dial to be going high dead on, and we don't want to be only going a couple thou under. This is a very quick and easy way to manipulate a little bit of ET with the shift. Because again, we can go back here to home and say we wanted to do just that. I wanted to pick the car up a little bit, just manipulating the shift. It's this easy to come through here to your shift screen and say that I want to toggle it over to time. We'll come back to line 4 here, toggle it over to time, and we're now shifting at 205. We sped it up pretty much 150 RPM that easily. We did not have to get the laptop out to get into the grid. We did not have to get chips or dials or anything outside the car. We can do this at a moment's notice, sitting at the ready line right behind the water. This is one of my favorite things about this delay box is just how easy it is to make a change on the fly. And it's very accurate, very easy to use. This is extremely user-friendly, big screen that Digital Delay is known for. So we'll go back to the Replay Tach screen, and we'll get back to our good run on run number 3. So as I said before, this delay box will record 9 runs, but you have to tell it to record the 9 runs. It will only record if you arm the delay box to do so. So in the 625, to arm the delay box, you have to hit what is push button 4, which is the line lock and the bump up button. So at some point before you begin the process to stage, you would just press that button and let off of it, and the delay box is now armed and ready to record a run. It will say nothing on the screen to notify you that it is armed. It just knows that you hit that button. And once you stage and set the switch and you let go, and as the delay runs out, when the trans brake solenoid turns off, this will start recording. Because you saw that it started recording at 42:53, and I was recording or launching at 42:50, so, or 43:50. So the delay box will then, because we're going to be racing it at the home screen right here, it will say recording right underneath line 2 for the duration of the run, and that is your only notification that the delay box is actively recording this run. It's still completely usable. You can get through here, and not that you would be making changes in the delay box going down a racetrack, but it will say recording right here, and that'll tell you that it is actively monitoring this pass. And once it's done, you get back to the trailer and you can come through here and go to your Replay Tach screen and review this and note that as good data for you that the car is making good gear changes. And if you want to make a change, it's just as simple as going through the setup screens, and it's naturally going to be on line 4, because this is line 4 is what is going to toggle between shift and time. If you wanted to actually change your shift point, you would go to line 2 and say, I wanted to match my time to my RPM shift setting, and we'll put 195 in here so that them two would, the shift parameters would basically shift at the exact same time at 195 on time, or 7260, we'll call it, on RPM. So, but for me, you can see that I run them differently. And in this situation, I was running them a little bit backwards than what I normally run. We were testing the car a little bit at the end of the year, and I was trying a few things. I haven't got to run this car a ton, and I was building my program with it. And normally I run the time side as the faster side and the RPM side as the slower side. But we'll put this back to 215. I'm sorry. And that is advantageous for the reason of what we talked about earlier, that you can have 2 shift points stored that manipulate a little bit of ET, whether for the style of opponent you're racing or just to favor one end of a dial in. You don't want to be going high dead on, or don't want to be going only 1 or 2 thou under. You can pick this up, you know, if your car responds to that type of change pretty easily. You can have another shift value stored in here that will pick it up if you look out there and the conditions are showing you that that's the change you need to make. So that pretty well covers everything related to shifting through the delay box with the Digital Delay Elite 625. And for a long time, tack wire was not allowed to be hooked to the delay box. That was a long-standing rule for a long time, and I believe in 2014 or 2015 the rule went away. We are now able to have the tack wire to the delay box, which allows us a lot more usability out of this delay box. We obviously get the replay tach function, and we get the shift on RPM. And maybe in a future video, if you guys like this type of content, we can talk about the need for the tack wire to be tied to the line lock, which is for the Burnout Timer, which is another extremely cool one-off feature to the Digital Delay Elite 625 and the Elite Crossover. One of my favorite features to run in my door car. So the tack wire being tied to the delay box has been a huge tool for me and my racing. I use it a lot. I think the tack wire is very valuable, and I hope that you guys got some enjoyment out of seeing this video. And if you're in the market for a new delay box and like this type of usability out of a delay box that's very powerful, but very simple to use and very versatile in what you're trying to do with it. This is a great option. Charlie and Dwayne at Digital Delay make great products. There's extremely great customer service. Charlie is very knowledgeable on his products and the needs that he has delay boxes that can meet whatever need you have. But this is what we've been running for a while now. I've had this in the Thunderbird that I drive, and I've got the Elite Crossover, which functionality-wise is identical to this box. It's just the smaller box with the smaller screen and the switches. But functionally, they operate the exact same. So I've been running this style of delay box for quite a while now with a lot of success. It's been a huge part of my racing program that I count as a big factor in my success. So give Charlie and Dwayne a shout if you're in the market for a delay box or even a switch panel or anything, relay boards, dial boards, anything. They're the best there is. So and they'll get you right. So that covers everything that I can think related to the shifting of these cars and how valuable it is, as well as a lot of good data you can get out of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if this goes well and you guys are getting value out of this, we may do some other videos on, like I said, the line lock solenoid with the Burnout Timer and such, and maybe some other things down the road. But that's all I got for now, and hopefully the winter treats us all good and we'll get to go back racing again soon.